What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we're doing another States question and answer with
Kevin Murphy.
And where are you from?
I'm from Arkansas.
So where'd you play this weekend?
I played Flareon and Polion.
Alright.
And going into the event, I didn't test it all. I just messaged Brandon Smiley and asked him for a deck list, so he just sent me this. And I think it's like card for card of like what Orion Craig played in Florida Day 2. Except I took out a Jirachi for a second end just because against like trainer lock, like Seismitoad, I like having the second end.
Yeah.
But I think that was the only change I made. I think everything else is pretty much card for card. One thing I do want to do is I want to put in more of the Eevee with the ability and more grass energies.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of times where I really wish I could have gone into the Leafeons, but I couldn't because I prized like the one grass energy. Or like Leafeon's second attack is actually kind of good. If you have a Bangle attached to it, it one-shots Seismitoad.
True.
If you're able to get the Bangle on before they start Quaking Punching.
Yeah.
And so it's really good. I also kind of wanted to put in a third Bangle. Things I might take out for that is like an Acro Bike. Like they were nice, but there were some times where I just had them and I couldn't use it. Like, well, I could use it, but it didn't do anything. I would rather have had it been a Silver Bangle. I think my favorite card in the entire deck has to be Archie. Like, whenever I played against Squeaky and Swiss, I opened Empoleon both games. And one game, I also had a Leafeon out turn 1 because this guy in the grass energy. And it's just really good if you're able to pull it off turn 1. Mm-hmm. You just gain so much advantage, and it's so good.
Now, how many times did you Archie during the tournament?
During the tournament, I think I Archied, let's see, I think probably a total of like, I think 7 times.
Did you ever want a second one, or was one enough?
No, one's more than enough. Like, the second one would never have been needed. Like, I never wanted a second one. Like, I would always discard it with my battle compressors, just because I didn't want it. I didn't want to draw into it. The only time I would not do it is if I could get it out with Jirachi that turn.
Okay.
Just because I could VS Seeker for it later.
Sure.
Like, whenever I could, like, empty out my entire hand and VS Seeker for it. So I just felt like that was better because dumping it out with Battle Compressor makes it to where normally it would only be, I could draw 1 card to get it. Makes it to where I can draw 4 cards now to get it.
Sure.
So it just made it to where like it's more live if I have it in the discard pile. And I would do like the same thing with supporters. Like if I was like running low or I knew I'd need something later, I would Battle Compressor like my supporters away because of all the VS Seekers. Like there were so many times where I Battle Compressor like turn 1 and got rid of a Lysander, and then just later on in the game, like I would just win because I had all my VS Seekers to keep using the Lysander.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty good. The trump card, funny story. I played against the Mirror. I think like round 4, and it was by far the most fun game I played all day, just because we trump carded I think like 4 turns in a row, and we just kept trump carding because we both had like all of our Flareons out. We're like, wait, what do we do now? We can't do damage.
Yeah.
And so like I finally got out a Leafeon, and he had a bunch of energy on his side of the field. I think he had all 4 double colorless out, so I just energy crushed and just kind of wrecked him a bit.
Sure.
Like I would energy crush with the training center out. This is a card I wish I had more of, really. I really liked it, and really, like, it made me really sad whenever my opponents put Burbanks out over it, just because I pretty much lost because of it.
Yeah. So
having a second one would have been super nice, but I don't really know, like, what could have been cut for it. Maybe a Battle Compressor. There were a lot of times where I just had them, and I had nothing I really wanted to send from the deck. Like, everything was really needed. Something that might be able to be cuttable was the Slurpuff line. Like, I liked it. It was really nice whenever I did have it, but sometimes there were moments where I had to discard a Swirlix or discard a Slurpuff, like turn 1, and it just made it dead until I trump carded, which I didn't want to do yet because of Flareon.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a struggle. So maybe I could like take these two out for like just some other cards, try that out. Like I haven't been playing the deck for very long, so I don't know like too much about it, like what can be changed.
Yeah.
Audino was really awesome. There were a lot of games I won just because I was able to get rid of poison. Like I won my last round of Swiss to make it into top 8 because of Audino.
Okay.
He had, like, I was poisoned and asleep, and I was like 20 damage away from being knocked out on my Leafeon, but I had 2 Audino in hand, so I was able to get rid of the sleep, get rid of the poison, and heal 20 damage.
Yeah.
And since Leafeon resists the Seismitoad, it made it to where he had to attack one more time, and it gave me a chance to win.
Okay.
And so Audino like came in really clutch in a lot of games. But overall, like the deck is a lot of fun. It's really consistent until you brick, which happened to me in top 8. Like game 2, I didn't play a single supporter. Then game 3, it just was kind of weird. Like I couldn't really get anything going. Oh, and then the most important card is this Delibird. It's signed by Chase Maloney, and I had it like in my classes like this all day, and I said I was channeling Chase Maloney's thoughts all day, and so I say he was guiding me to the top 8.
Okay.
Town Map was actually really nice. Like this card is so underrated right now, I feel. Like there's so many people that say it's like the 61st or 62nd card. I want to put this card in every one of my decks though. Because there were games where I prized like 2 Leafeon, Grass double colorless, Computer Search, and a Trump card. And I'd be like, okay, I need all of that, but like, you know, I would need in specific orders, so I'd take, you know, like these out, then whenever I'd knock something else out, I'd get those, and just like leave these for the last 2 prizes because they're not as important. But it also depends on like what I'm playing against. I would go for the Grass Energy to use Leafeon's second attack, just because like I was saying earlier, that with a Bengal one-shot Seismitoad and a just regular Kyogre EX before they can Primal, or a Keldeo. And I actually did that against Squeaky in our Swiss game. Like, I kind of made him a sad panda.
What happened?
Oh, I lost in top 8. Yeah, we both lost.
We both lost top 8.
So that was that. But the deck, it's really good. I feel like the worst matchup is probably Quad Seismitoad, or just things that play heavy Seismitoad, because your deck is mainly trainers and mainly items, and not being able to play those, you just can't play Pokemon.
Yeah, sure.
And that's why I ended up losing game 3, is because I couldn't play Pokemon. He just sat there and toe blocked me the entire time. But overall, it was a really fun day. Don't want to get too much into the tournament itself. That's a completely different story.
Okay. Alrighty, you want to give any more shout outs or anything?
Shout out to Chase Maloney, shout out to Brandon Smiley for sending me the deck list. Shout out to the Florida crew for making the deck what it is. Without them, like, I wouldn't have been playing it. I probably would have played Raticate. But like, people they dog Raticate, but don't diss Raticate. It's gonna creep up on you.
Alrighty, man. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Right,
We got
yeah.
the top 8.
Alright, thank you.
Alright.